Hey guys, it's Wren.
And Lyd.
And we're back today with Seduce Me, My Princess. This is
Oh,
Erik's
joy.
Epilogue, which just came out a few days ago, basically.
I, for one, am absolutely excited to re-meet this man who we definitely loved again.
Let's get started.
Oh boy. Perfect. When you're dating someone, you expect surprises. Depending on who you're dating, the surprises can range from a new habit they may have, or something that may change how you see them. When it comes to dating a demon, the possibilities become endless. Same thing with robots, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. I was in love with a demon. I read ahead.
Me too.
I hate Erik so much. The many surprises he showed me, including him being an incubus, him having tentacle powers, and him being an ex-noble from a large expanding kingdom. I didn't think anything could take the cape on top of those things, not the second one, definitely not. I was wrong, I'm scared. Why are we in a car? I found myself dressed to the nines, sitting in my fiance's luxury cars. We drove into the city of Chicago. I didn't wear fancy clothes often, so feeling the lavish fabrics of the gown I was wearing against my skin was almost uncomfortable. Still, I had to admit when I saw myself in the mirror, I was floored at how I looked. I was in a beautifully designed red and black dress, with matching heels and jeweled accessories. I still would never know how Erik was able to obtain it all, but he gifted the gown, the shoes, and the jewelry to me with a simple smile. I think Erik's a gigolo. A part of me knew he had what? A part of me knew he had made the dress by hand. He owned a custom suit shop and had access to the finest fabrics in the city. His skill wasn't limited to suits, however. He could make anything that was deemed as formal wear. We heard nothing about this. What do you mean? I didn't know he could sew. Why didn't he teach Sam how to sew?
How's that for a throwback?
That's honestly my favorite throwback. As for the shoes and jewelry, I couldn't figure it out and had decided to let it go.
Well, probably he either made them or he bought them. Those are the only two options you really got unless he stole them.
The drive into the city became one filled with curiosity. Why did I have to be dressed up? Where exactly were we going?
Erik?
Yes, my princess?
Where are we going?
His suit. Okay. What?
It looks like it doesn't fit right.
It doesn't fit him right. Look, it's like opening. There's like a triangle. There's a triangle where, like, the dress shirt and the pants. That's not how a suit should work. No. Erik, get better at making suits. A chuckle escaped Erik's lips as he continued to drive into the night.
I told you, it's a surprise.
A surprise that requires me to dress up like I'm going to a prom?
Not a prom, exactly.
Erik.
Erik's smile grew as he lowered a hand from the wheel and took a gentle hold of mine, bringing it to my lips and laying a butterfly kiss over it.
I promise you will enjoy yourself. You have my word.
Oh, well, if I have your word.
I stared at Erik, a small blush adorning my face as his gentle words and kiss. Giving up at last, I nodded and simply let him guide us further into the heart of the city. Chicago was a beautiful city, especially at night. The lights that illuminated the streets and buildings were a grand sight to behold, and the lively aura of the night's energy that filled every alley and sidewalk was simply enchanting.
Sorry, you
No.
got a couple of LA and New York girls here.
Oh my god. Well, because I have a friend, she lives somewhere near Chicago, and I mean, I don't know. I don't get it. All I know is that they have the best deep dish. And they've said nothing about deep dish so far, so I have a feeling they don't know much about Chicago.
LA all the way, baby.
I didn't even say the line. traffic towards the destination was almost non-existent. We were in the richest part of Chicago, and at last we arrived at our destination, one that took me completely off guard. The outside looked like a regular business building. At the very top of the tower was a large sign that said "The Gateway" in bright yellow colors. Something about it stood out, which made me curious. What was in the store in this place?
In store.
In the store in this place. I stand by it. Erik led me out of the car, opening my door for me and escorting me out with a gentle hand. As he closed the door behind me, a man dressed in a bellboy suit rushed up to Erik and held out his hands. Erik dug his hands into his tuxedo pocket and finally got a small white envelope, passing it and his car keys to the bellboy. The bellboy took the items and quickly rushed to the driver's side of the car, driving it off like a valet. I watched the car head into a nearby parking lot as I unconsciously took Erik's arm. I really don't think that's the right term for what you mean. As I turned back to him, I could tell that I was in for more surprises. He handed me a mask and silently instructed me to put it on as we walked up the steps to the door.
Like a Venetian mask or a burglar mask?
Laundry. We have to rob this place. Laundry smash! A pair of bellboys opened the doors to Erik and me, revealing a lavish lobby with a single large pedestal platform in the middle of the room. Stepping up to it, we were stopped by a large woman in a dress suit.
Invitation?
I looked at Erik, watching him take out a golden slip of paper from his pocket.
I got the golden ticket.
You didn't even get it from a chocolate bar. He's a loop. The guy looked over the parchment before the guard. The guy. Yeah, you're good. Nodding to Erik and stepping away from our path with the pencil. Where on earth were we going? I remained silent still as we stepped up to the platform and settled in the middle of it, Erik guiding us to stop and stay still in place. Erik nodded to the guard, who simply nodded back and waved her hand in the air. As she did, the pedestal beneath us suddenly shifted and began to rise into the air.
What?
Alright, this is some Quest for Camelot bullshit here. On every tree, sun and sun.
I stand
I gripped
alone.
I share my world
With no one
else. All by myself. I stand alone. Anyway, I gripped Erik tightly as the platform beneath us ascended through the building. All around us were sights of pictures and diamond chandeliers. Whatever this was, I could tell that this was by no means a regular event. When we reached the top floor, what I assumed to be the top floor, we were greeted by a pair of women in waitress suits, bowing to us in respect. As their bird-tail feathers and pure black eyes presented themselves to me, I knew then that this was a demon party. A demon party. Oh man.
Shoot.
Okay, I guess maybe it is a demon party. I was astonished even as I was led in by Erik. Everyone was dressed in modern formal wear with a range of dresses and tuxedos. It was almost dizzying how much the aged music clashed with the modern fashion of the patrons. Yet I couldn't tear my eyes away from the sight of the guests.
Wow.
Welcome to a small taste of the demon world, my princess.
Oh, this is actually a demon party. Oops. I didn't know that.
It said it was a demon party.
I thought it was just gonna be a masquerade. Masquerade. Vampire faces on parade.
Masquerade.
The guests were all demons, some with horns, some with tails, and the rest with an assortment of different looks. It was a conglomerate of people, and I felt a bit out of place as someone who obviously looked human. I mean, doesn't matter that Erik obviously looks human right now, too. As we stepped further into the space, a voice chirped out.
Erik, my boy, come fly over here, will you?
Excuse me?
Oh god!
What?
What happened?
I'm astonished right now. We've apparently, Freddy Fazbear's going through his CV, and he's dating a bird. I don't even know what to say, man. I looked over to see a bird man with a polished tuxedo with a very handsome gentleman with mouse ears on his arm. That's a very poor way of wording that sentence. It sounds like he has ears on his arm. Despite the nerves running through my system, Erik and I walked over. As Erik bowed his head, I quickly curtsied. For some reason, the way the birdman carried himself made him seem like a prince. I was in awe of his gorgeous tail feathers and beak, accentuated by the lavish suit he wore.
Connor, you look splendid. I assume you approve of your tuxedo?
Approve? I absolutely love it! Shadow here won't let go of me because of it.
Ricardo, huh?
I looked over at the mouse man, who I assumed to be Ricardo, as he smiled coyly and hugged Connor's arm tight, nodding in agreement of Connor's words. I smiled a bit as Erik laughed.
Very good. Well, thank you for inviting us to your anniversary celebration. It is an honor to be in such company.
Nonsense! Thank you for attending! As the son of the most powerful demon in the abyssal
Yeah, that
planes,
is pretty
it's
rude.
only
Why didn't you
proper
invite the
to invite
brothers?
you regardless. My only regret is not inviting your brothers. I must seem so rude.
Erik waved his hand dismissively.
Think nothing of it. We actually denounced our titles when we came to this world.
You don't say? Well, good on you. You do such fabulous work as a designer here. It's no wonder that your suit shop is unmatched.
Well, I really need to know what the Birdman sounds like. What does he sound like?
He's like, no, thank you. Like,
Oh, he's flamboyant flamingo. Except he's not pink. Connor finally turned his head to me and cocked it in curiosity. I felt a bit small under his gaze, but smiled back respectfully.
And who might this lovely lady be? A human?
Erik nodded and lifted my hand to his lips, kissing it respectfully before our conversation partners.
This is my wonderful princess. I asked her to accompany me tonight to show her how elegant a demon ball can be.
How marvelous! I rarely get to meet humans. It is an absolute delight to meet you.
No, sir, it's a delight to meet you. Connor held out his hand toward me, making me place my hand on top of it out of manners. Instead of kissing my hand, he lifted it to his beak and very gently nipped a few.
what?
He's pecking at her hand!
It's a pleasure to meet you too.
Connor released my hand and smiled at me before looking back at Erik.
Well, Erik, princess, it's been an
Don't
absolute
patronize me.
pleasure to meet you. Please enjoy the ball.
That's right,
Dance
for a
in
man
it
you
as
walk
much as
away.
you like.
We shall, thank you.
With that, Erik and I walked away from Connor and Ricardo, both of whom were waving at us before turning to find new conversation partners.
So this is a demon ball?
Yes, princess. You've been curious about what life was like for me in the demon world, yes?
I nodded. I was indeed curious about Erik's life in the demon world. Erik, you went up to some furry stuff, man. Oh my god.
Tentacles, furries.
You're starting to get more interesting even though I still hate you. I didn't expect him to give me an experience. This was completely out of the blue. Erik gestured to the room where the couples on the dance floor were waltzing in sync. It was mesmerizing.
Well, this is a perfect representation of how Demon Royal celebrated. We had elegant balls filled with dancing and food, and they would only end when the sun came up.
Really? I thought the Demon World was like the Dark Ages. This seems like a fairy tale ball, not really medieval.
Erik chuckled and walked with me around the dance floor, continuing his explanation.
The Demon World may be stuck in the Dark Ages, but we do take inspiration from the human world. Your fairy tales inspired our celebrations.
I couldn't stop staring at the dancers and the demons in the room. There were so many people dressed up like royalty that I felt almost underdressed. There were some glances my way, but none with ill intent. It was probably natural, since I was a human in a room full of demons. Slyly, Erik led me onto the dance floor and began to waltz with me to the music. We remained outside of the crowd, dancing to our own beat, in sways as the rest of the dancers kept in time and step with the synchronized dancing. So what you're saying is we suck.
So instead of getting phones and computers, you got balls and dresses?
You are correct. The Demon World has no need for computers or phones, but new traditions of celebration are always welcomed.
No raves or clubs?
Too human for our tastes.
Well, no light shows or DJs?
That would require electricity, my princess, which we don't care to use. To us, it's a waste of energy.
I pursed my lips at Erik as he slowly began to ease into the crowd. I barely noticed the dancers moving aside and stopping their dances to stare at us. I locked eyes with Erik, continuing the conversation.
Do demons have balls often?
Unfortunately, no. Hosting celebrations take a large amount of resources, so we save balls for only the most grand of occasions.
Like birthdays?
Demons don't celebrate birthdays, princess. However, we celebrate the peaceful uniting of kingdoms or the crowning of a new ruler.
I became fascinated, even as Erik began to twirl me around and add elaborate steps into the dance between us. We both focused on each other as we let the world around us fade into a blurred outline of people and decor like the background right now.
However, the human world has provided demons here the means to celebrate many more things.
Like Connor's anniversary?
Erik nodded and dipped me for a moment, staring into my eyes.
Exactly.
Oh, okay. He's gone really Bishonen.
It's beautifully done, though.
It is beautifully done. I'm just like, who are you? I held on to Erik, mesmerized in his lovely purple eyes. I squeezed his hand gently and caused him to lift me back up and hold me close in a loving embrace.
And one day, I would love to hold an elegant ball for our union.
Erik.
My face began to grow a soft rosy red as I smiled up at my prince. I loved him with every ounce of my being, and a fairy tale wedding and ball seemed like a perfect way to celebrate. I stretched on my toes and kissed Erik ever so gently before pulling away with a giggle.
I'd love that.
Erik stared at me in surprise for a moment before chuckling and nuzzling. Water. Water. I tried to keep it away. Erik stared at me in surprise for a moment before chuckling and nuzzling his head against mine, a playful but loving smirk against his lips.
My beautiful princess, I am yours forever.
And I am yours, my Prince Charming.
And the night became one of fairy tale dancing and a seemingly happy ever after for me and my demon prince. What? That was it?
That was it?
What? What?
I guess that was it.
Bruh, all we did was meet some furries. Not that there's anything wrong with that. I was shocked, man. Alright, I was shocked.
It was just kind of out of nowhere.
It really was out of nowhere. Just Ricard.
Am I the only one who thought of that heart from Adventure Time?
The heart from I don't know why I thought it was so funny.
I don't know either.
I don't know why. I don't know why I thought I don't know. I don't have an answer, man. I feel weird.
Eric's CG was lovely.
It was this lovely CG. This experience was really strange.
This was just really bizarre.
It's really strange.
Not at all what I was expecting.
I mean, because I was under the impression it was like a masquerade and a ball, and I don't know. I expected something different.
Yeah.
All I have to say is into the Sunday.
Well, that was a thing.
That was a thing that happened. Wow. Well, he looks nice.
Yes.
Okay.
Thanks for watching, and
yeah.
we'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.